talking about REITs was the question from Vincent. Are REITs good in this kind of market? I think if you've both been watching the market, you know that we're technically in a bear market now. That's the situation. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. Okay, so I'm going to bring up Interactive Brokers for a second here, and we can look at the chart, see what kind of look we're seeing. Okay, so we're going to wait for this to come up when we can look at a chart, but we can wait a bit if you want. We'll wait a few minutes. We'll wait 5 minutes, see what happens. Is that okay? Okay. So I'm going to mute for a second just to bring up the. So right now, if you're a buyer, we can talk about today. What considering the situation with coronavirus, compounded with the drop in oil price, which I'm sure you guys are aware of. That the oil is taking a deep dive. Russia and Saudi Arabia decided to, well, Saudi Arabia really did it, discount their oil. Russia and Saudi Arabia as two oil producers, as the experts say, whoever they are, can hold out for quite a bit. This will create some serious problems for shale in the U.S., in Canada actually, for oil prices, because it becomes a question of can you afford to produce oil when you're selling it for just over $30. And we don't know if oil is going to continue to drop. Um, there's definitely going to be surplus of oil, and they're producing and discounting it, so that's going to be a double whammy, discounting the oil price as it is. So we don't know the complete impact of that. Some places are going to benefit from that oil being lower, but unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, they're not going to be able to see that, those gains right away because of the challenge to the consumer, right? The consumer, continuing to buy and purchase and spend money is going to be challenged by what's going on with. Um, so it's going to be difficult to say, how long this is going to last. They're talking about for some kind of vaccination somewhere around 12 to 18 months. Experts are also saying that it could come back. It's another song. It won't be completely wiped out. Who knows? These are tough questions to answer. I think that what we want to do, if you're a buyer, we could talk buying. What should wealth of environment talk about? The problem with buying anything really is, you're going to be at the mercy of the uh, stock market overall trend, which again we talked about, is down. So if we look at, here, hold on, 1 second. All right, so let me bring you into my screen here. So look at okay, can everybody see that? Everybody see that okay? Okay. So, you know, the market, we can just look at a longer term view. This is daily candles. Just gonna bring this up. Okay, so why don't we go weekly? Take a look at that. Okay, so these are weekly candles. You know, going back, this is 2016. Go back further, but we see the markets had a nice upward movement, and then we look at this huge pullback. You know, and from the top to the bottom, you know, it's gone. You know, it's more than 10%. So let me 1 second. Let me get rid of this. There we go. All right, so you can see from here, the top here, this is the highs. So 34, it's gone down to 27, as low as 27, right? So a 10% drop, which was in this range, you know, not too bad. It's correction. You know, you expect it to pull back to somewhere around here, you know, here, and then you know it would pull back up, right? Because it would fall into support. And this is, you can see the support, you know, is all across here. It didn't do that. It broke down and broke down further, and it's broke past. You would expect again some support, maybe even in here. It's broken down past that. And how low will it go? You could be looking at somewhere down here, you know, 2,400, 2,300, you know, 23.5. It could go as low as that. That's all possible now with what's going on. The other, you know, problem is because of the coronavirus and the impact of that, that's going to create earnings problems because people are not going to be spending the same way they're spending. Supply chains are being interrupted, so it's pretty bad. Is this a specific stock we are looking at? No, this is the overall market SPYs, the S&P 500. So this is an ETF of the SPYs. So this is the overall. When we look at the market and market trends, this is the chart we look at, the SPYs. Okay, so definitely right now, technically, one could argue easily. I mean, it is. This is bear territory. What happens tomorrow in the coming days? Very hard to say, but it appears that there's a growing consensus that the market's going to continue to go down because the impact of this virus and the change in oil prices is really not known yet. You know, the total impact. They do know already. A lot of companies are coming out and saying that there's going to be a massive impact to their earnings. Some are saying no earnings. Dividends have been, you know, pulled back for some companies, saying we're not going to pay out a dividend this year. So lots of challenges, and we're just starting really with the impact, you know, worldwide with this virus. So we don't know. The belief is at least it's going to get worse before it gets better. So it's hard to say, you know, are we buying right now? You know, one could say don't buy anything. If you're a buyer and just wait, you know, you got to wait this out. You could be, you know, aggressive and short the market or short stocks, certain stocks, and try to benefit that way. Now, a lot of stocks have already been killed, really, by this pullback, but that doesn't mean they're not going to go lower, right? Obviously, the market could go much lower, and this is why, you know, what to buy or how to buy becomes a challenge. Now, on the theme of buying, you know, what could I buy or would be, you know, something that I could buy? Any suggestions on things that would benefit from this kind of situations. Everybody understands the situations. We have two things, major things happening. We have the coronavirus that's basically pushing people into their homes. People can't go out and spend necessarily. Sporting events are being done now without fans. The March Madness, they said, is going to be done without fans. Basketball games, soccer game in Europe, there was literally no fans. They weren't doing any fans because they're trying to limit the amount of people that are in one group at one time. You know, so right now I've heard numbers of 500 or 1,000 in the U.S. States saying they don't want bigger crowds than that. So still, I mean, smaller groups are allowed. They're okay with it, but they really don't want to tempt fate with the situation. So if you know that people are being affected in this way, what do you think? What would do well in this kind of environment? What are some of your ideas? What are some of the companies that you think would do well in this kind of environment? Walmart. Okay, so Walmart, you know, Walmart could Walmart do well in this kind of place? Well, some challenges with that, right? Some challenges with Walmart. Hand sanitizer is basically sold out everywhere. I'm traveling tomorrow, and I asked my wife to pick me up some, and she's been to three different places, and there's none. And this is in Canada, so hand sanitizer is just it's nowhere to be found apparently, right? Because they're so people who sell it will definitely, but that's not a huge portion of their sales. Maybe a few percentage points. I don't know, maybe 5 or 10, depending on the company. But it would be hard to say. Give me a second. Here's Walmart for you. We're looking at Walmart now. See how it's been affected by this. Let's go to a daily chart. So daily. So you can see Walmart, was up here. Let's see here. So coming into the year, like here, we're about 117, comes down, goes up, and then gets creamed. Right? Gets creamed because the market took a huge dive a few weeks ago. This is, and then you see it start to climb up, and I think it's part of the reason that you see that is, the situation with uh, with hand sanitizer and people, trying to stock up for the anticipation that things are, they're going to be at home. But you can see that it still wasn't strong enough on its own to deal with drop even today, right? It still had a drop today and pulled back. So the problem with Walmart is, two things. So they're telling their employees, if you're sick, stay home, right? And I believe there's a plan coming out for their people that if you're still going to get paid for, I think it's 2 weeks if you're at home and you're sick because of the virus, we'll still pay you, right? So that's going to be that's going to be a hit on their earnings. Plus, are people going to come? Are people going to go out to Walmart and shop the way they would regularly shop? I walked into Costco's a week ago, and I did. I looked around, and the place was packed, and I was like, wow, this would be this could be bad, right? If someone's sick in here, it would be that fast to get everyone else sick in this place. So I think that their concern is people are not going to be shopping the way they were shopping. This is even though gas prices have come down because of oil dropping, so there's more consumer income, discretionary income. Because they're spending less on gas. They're talking about reducing taxes or having zero payroll tax for the rest of the year because of this situation. So they know that there's going to be money available, but they're still worried that people are not going to be able to shop. Now, the one upside for Walmart is Walmart does have, the ability to shop online and get your stuff delivered. So they might see still, you can do groceries and stuff. You might see them prosper in that particular area. But you can see that from where they were to the drop, down here to back up, and down, they really they moved up because of some of the things, the shopping and stuff like that, hand sanitizer, and just stuff. They've still been susceptible to this push down. So again, this is very difficult, very difficult to not be affected in a negative way by this market. Anybody else? Any ideas? Amazon. Okay, so Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Okay, so Amazon. Let's look at how Amazon's done. So you saw Amazon came out with earnings, did really well, popped, came down a little bit, which is normal, and then started to rise again. But you can see that, what's happened since it got up to the close to 2,200. This is what's gone on. This is where it ended today. So Amazon, you would think again would benefit for this. And I would say to you that Amazon would be one of the winners because they're going to do delivery, definitely. But, how low will Amazon go? Will it be able to resist the pressure from the market? The overall market going down, it'll be tough to say. It's a high-priced stock. If you owned it at 22 and you saw it go down to 18.20, or even a couple days before it was in the 17s. That's a massive, that's a huge drop from its high. That's 25 more percent, drop, from the stock. So it's tough. But as a delivery company, it should find some stability because it will be used. I think people will be shopping online and getting delivery. I think what the challenge is people are seeing the impact for Amazon. Amazon's doing the same thing. People stay at home if you're sick. There's going to be an impact to this company too to be able to deliver. I think there was an individual in Seattle that was actually came from Brazil. I think it was Brazil who had the virus at work. They found somebody. I don't know if he was at work when they found out or how they found out, but I mean, this is going to touch a lot of different companies in a lot of different ways. Telecoms are okay as people will still keep getting in touch if they don't go out as much. So AT&T and Bell Canada. Okay, so AT&T. Let's look at AT&T. Is it ATT or what's their call sign? You know what their sign is? AT&T. Anybody? AT&T. So theirs is. Let's see, AT&T. Give me 1 second. AT&T is T. Okay. So it's actually just T. All right. Yep. AT&T. Okay. All right. So here's AT&T. Was it able to hold resist the drop? You can see that over here. We're sitting around $39, and it closed today at $34. So we saw this huge drop. Went down to 33, popped up, and again, I think some of these pop stronger because belief that, like you're saying, they're still going to use their phone, they're still going to do these things. Um, that's that's going to help these companies that are going to be less affected, but they're still going to be affected for employees. They're still going to be affected for the cost of this slowdown in general. So, you know, as a, you know, somebody who should hold up better, possibly, makes sense. I could see where you're coming from, with this kind of company. So I could see that, as a possibility of someone who would be better, uh, dealing better, as a communications. The communications less interrupted. People are still going to call. I agree with that. But not Tesla, which has the same ticker. So Tesla, um, so Tesla, you can look at Tesla. Tesla is you know, charged up to almost 1,000 per share. Came down, looked like it was going to test it again. Came up, then came down, came up again to 825, then came down. And can you see? Can everybody see this little trend here? What do you see? What do you see? So what kind of trend do you see? So lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, this looks like it's not as low, but still, you know, definitely, you know, in a downtrend. The problem now people are having is, where do I put my money? Because if I put my money in the market right now, I might have to wait a long time to get paid. Now, you know, Tesla as a company really doesn't make any money at this point. They just announced today, I think, and this is why it didn't do so bad today, could have done worse, was that they were opening up a factory in the U.S. for their SUV, I believe it was the story. So I think that helped it today. But it's very difficult to say, you know, will Tesla perform through this kind of market? Again, right? When you're leaving your money in the market, you wanna know that you're maybe getting something out of it, or how long is it going to take for it to recover. These kind of questions come up. Could Tesla go lower? Sure, it could. I mean, is it going to do well in a bear market? I think it's already been hit pretty hard. It could be hit harder. I mean, it's hard to justify the price of Tesla, other than you think that Tesla's going to go back to 1,000, which, I mean, I wouldn't argue or doubt necessarily. It's just, when is it going to do that? How long is it going to take? Is it months? Is it a year? Is it days? Who knows? It would be tough to say days, but you can see that it's had a rough ride too. Anybody else? Netflix. Okay, so Netflix, right, is another one that, should Netflix do well in this type of market, right? So, Netflix, you would think, would do okay in this type of market, because people are going to be at home, right? So they're still going to be doing this. So it makes total sense, right? Um, you know, couple of headwinds for Netflix is there's more people in the market now, um, in their field, in their area, like Apple, and some of the networks are coming out with their own streaming site, and you have Disney. So there's a lot of headwinds, for them. But as a company, I would say Netflix would probably not do too bad in a bear market, right? They would still, again, everybody gets punished in a bear market. It's about who can survive the bear market. How badly is it going to be for them? Will they see an effect on their earnings? I don't think so. I think Netflix is one that probably is going to see less impact, as far as I know, from what I know, from their earnings. So it has a chance, I think, because people are going to be at home. If that's what's going to happen, there's going to be cocooning at home because of this situation. So I could totally see and understand why Netflix would be something that you would look at. So let me give you another one here. So this company, is it Fox? Hold on one second. Electric and water companies, sure, utilities could still do well in this type of market.
Market data connection lost.
So
Market data connection reestablished.
my apologies, I didn't mean box. So Zoom. So let's look at Zoom. Okay. Let's see how Zoom's done. Oh, I know why. Hold on one sec. Wrong. This is because, my apologies, it's because I went to my phone and logged into my account. So it broke the connection.
Market data connection lost. Market data connection reestablished.
There we go. Why is it not? I'm not sure why it's not giving us this. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. So here we go. We see that everybody can see that all right now. So Zoom, why is Zoom performing this way? Now you can see that it still got affected by the market. It was up 130. It's gone down as low as 100. But it started to come up. It didn't do too bad. And the huge drop. And today it was a huge drop, 1,500 points on the Dow, and it still went up. Anybody think of why this would do well, possibly in a market like this? So why would this company perform? You can see the market's down huge. This thing was, you can see it's made some moves up. It's had an effect. When the market went down, it had an effect. But overall, it's still in an upward trend, really, because we can communicate without interacting. Yeah, this is going to be used to do meetings, and people are going to work from home, and this might be one of the devices they use to do it. So we might see subscriptions of Zoom start to rise because of this, situation. So this is an example of a company that might prosper in a situation where people are being sent home or working from home. Everybody see that and understand that? So I think that if you're looking for things to hold on to or things to purchase, you may be looking at things that accommodate the individual at home. Another one that you might look at. This one, here you can see, look, huge pop up and pop down. This is huge moves, but you can see that when the market came down, it still kind of held on. When the market, you can see that it tried to get up, and then today, it was a pretty bad day, and it didn't move too much, didn't lose too much down. Change was $1.42. Why would this one possibly hold up? Anybody know? What is EA exactly? Anybody know what EA is? What EA is? Yes, video games. Yes. So people are at home. What are they gonna be doing? What are they gonna be doing? You know, people are at home. They close down schools, possibly. Kids are gonna be at home. What could happen? Um, you know, people are gonna be playing video games. People are gonna be, people are gonna be doing that stuff. So I think that those companies also have maybe some upside, potential. It's very difficult to say, either way, because if the market continues on a bear run, everybody typically gets affected. But if we're looking for opportunities of things to go up, these are some companies that might do well. So you could consider doing like a covered call on some of these companies to hedge some risk, um, and maybe do covered puts, or shorting a stock and then selling a put on some of the other ones that you think are going to do worse. There's been some serious damage already in the market. It's hard to say how it's going to react or what it's going to do in the coming days, but we're seeing some big moves up, big moves down, which is actually pretty common in bear markets. You have a huge down day and then a huge 2,000 down, 1,000 up, and today it was 1,500 down. It's tough to say where the market's going to go, other than people are unsure of what's going to happen, because they really don't know if any of these companies, or a lot of these companies, my apologies, are going to make money. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up because I'm going to set up for the real estate. But good conversation about the market. We'll continue to talk about opportunities. If you come across something that you think is an opportunity, so this week I'd want you to maybe spend some time thinking about. And again, I would really urge everyone to stay paper trading. No real money. That's something that if you decide to do, that's something that you decide for yourself. But understanding the opportunities that are available, maybe look at some companies and maybe list some companies that you think would do well in an environment like this. Who's going to do the best? Who's going to do the worst in a kind of environment where people are being asked to stay home, and we don't know how long it's going to last. So who's going to benefit and who's not going to benefit from this kind of impact. So do a list up and we'll review some of those next week, okay? All right. Okay, I got some insight from friends of mine, physicians. They are saying that the lethal rate of Italian victims is now 6 to 7% compared to the 3% in China. Yeah, it's hard to say, but it's not looking good. China, Italy's pretty much closed down. So it's could that happen in Canada and the U.S.? It's very difficult to say. We'll have to see what happens. Different definitely Canada and the U.S. are probably gonna hold up better, but it's hard to say what's gonna happen. So, all right, I want to thank everybody for coming out this week. I will start up the real estate in this room in 30 minutes. Make sure you make a list this week of companies you think will benefit, who winners and losers that you think would benefit, and we'll review them on next week's call. All right, if you're good, type in yes or Y. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we'll see you all next week for stock. Obviously, those of you who stick around for real estate will be starting that in the next 30 minutes. Have a good night.